So no work on the Sport Quattro this episode. Instead, I embark on a road trip. I bought a donor car, and this is the story of the utter madness that is this purchase. I guess you're wondering on why buying a donor car would be considered madness. Now there's a story. Firstly, I bought this at auction, sight unseen, but for a handful of photos, and not particularly high-res photos either. Secondly, its location is a bit of an issue. If you remember, I live in Australia and everywhere is seemingly a bazillion miles away. Well, not only the car is indeed a bazillion miles away, it's somewhat immobile too. Hence, no transport company will even quote me for shipping, which means I have to go collect it myself. So as you can see, I'm already over 4 hours in and almost 400 k's in. But how far am I going? Well, keep watching and you'll find out. And exactly what car is it that I bought? And is it worth it? Again, keep watching and you'll find out. I'm based in Brisbane, and if you're not familiar with Australia, what I can tell you is I'm heading south. If we head south, we talk about the territory and state capitals. Sydney is about 900 kilometres away, Canberra around 1200 kilometres, Melbourne 1800 kilometres, and Adelaide over 2000 kilometres. And if you want to go even further, Perth, that's almost 5000 kilometres. Take your pick, where are we going? So buying this car sight unseen is in fact a massive gamble, but let me put this gamble into perspective. The Sport Quattro absolutely must have the correct engine in it, and by correct I mean a 2.2 20 valve 5-cylinder turbo. It's the sound of pure 80s rally awesomeness. These are like proper rocking horse shit in Australia, you just can't get hold of them. However, fairly recently I did manage to find one for sale in the UK, so I threw some money at it and then proceeded to throw a load more money at it and get it shipped out. In total, this engine stands me at $8,500 Australian dollars after all shipping expenses and import costs, duties, etc. Yep, that's a lot, but it is what it is, and unless I wanted to do a Fred Flintstone and pedal the Sport Quattro along, I had no other choice. So now back to the donor. Now this donor is an absolute steal if the engine, gearbox and running gear are okay. But are they okay? I've no idea. That's why it's a massive gamble. If all the major components are okay, it's an absolute no-brainer. The seats I can definitely use, they're period. Maybe the hubs I've got to swap for a 4 to 5 stud. And the donor is in fact one of only 25 examples of this car to hit the shores in Australia. So I'm sure there'll be some call for surplus parts that I don't need. Doors, interior, lights, electronics, whatever. So yeah, there's a few clues as to what the car is. "21 hours in, 1500 kilometres. We've bypassed Sydney and we've bypassed Canberra and we're now into Victoria. Looks like we're heading to Melbourne, possibly." I've hit civilization again and traffic, heading into the northern suburbs of Melbourne. Almost there, sort of. Any idea where we're going yet? For 25 hours and 1800 kilometres. Now that's the driving done for a while, but the journey is far from over. So there you go. Yep, Tasmania bound. But hey, not to worry. It's only another 10 hours travel. But on the upside, I do get to have some well-earned sleep. And maybe the odd pint. Arrived in Tasmania. It's about 7 in the morning. It's 42 hours down and 2,300 kilometres. But it's not far to where we pick up the car now. Who guessed that the destination was Tasmania? Who guessed it was going to be 43 hours and over 2,300 kilometres? I must be absolutely barking mad. Anybody any guesses to what we've bought yet? We shall see it very shortly. Possibly. But what is this? A forklift? Nobody said anything about a forklift. Oh, did I forget to mention it was written off? Yes, sight unseen, written off. What sort of fucking idiot would do that? Maybe now you understand why it's such a massive gamble. Sight unseen from a salvage auction. I really don't know what I'm getting. It could be the steal of all steals. It could be an utter nightmare. I have no idea at this point. But still, what is it that we bought? But no, you don't get to find out just yet. That'd be too easy. It's forklifted onto the trailer, all tied down and covered up, ready for the equally massive return journey. Any ideas from the shape what it is? Take a guess. You know what engine's in there. Let's drag this big fat arse back to Brisbane. And no, it wasn't easy as getting back on the next ferry. I had to wait 2.5 days for any availability. So here we go, back on the mainland, but this time straight through to Brisbane. No stopping, just fuel stops. Let's get on with it. But in the magic of post-production, we'll do it in under a minute. Let's put that into perspective. Let's forget about the 20 plus hours on the high seas and just look at the 4,000 kilometres of actual driving. If you're in the UK, you can't drive that far, but London to Edinburgh 6 times. If we look a little bit further, Edinburgh to Monaco and back. Travelling across Europe, Ingolstadt to Istanbul and back. And if you're in the USA, it's the entirety of Route 66, so Santa Monica to Chicago. It's a bit of a journey. Surely that's worth a subscription. So finally the big reveal. What have I bought? And why was it at a salvage auction? I think you can see from there. Doesn't look very well, does it? Oh yeah, it's a 1993 URS4 that's been well and truly stuffed into a tree. So at least the trip on the way back gave me plenty of time to contemplate something important. Remember how this car was put on the trailer by a forklift? Well, obviously I don't have a forklift, so how the fuck do I get it off at the other end? Now I did hatch a plan, but let me tell you, plan didn't go quite as expected. So I had to get a little creative, and that didn't always go to plan either. But hey, we got it in there eventually. But tune into part 2, see the shenanigans. Cheers.